something fundamental shifted in software development this year, and most people haven't caught up yet. In 2025, the act of writing code, the foundational skill of the digital economy, is being restructured by artificial intelligence, not in some distant theoretical way. Right now, in three competing environments that each represent a radically different philosophy of how humans and machines should build software together. Cursor, Windsurf, Claude Code. Three tools, three approaches, each backed by billions in venture capital and used by hundreds of thousands of developers daily. Independent benchmarks suggest these tools are accelerating development speed by 35 to 40%. Some practitioners claim even higher gains, but the numbers only tell part of the story. The real question, the one that matters for anyone building anything, is which of these tools actually delivers and for whom, because they are not the same, not even close. To understand the current landscape, you need a brief history. GitHub Copilot launched in June 2021 as an autocomplete assistant, impressive but limited. It suggested the next line. You accepted or rejected. By late 2023, a new generation of tools emerged that didn't just suggest, they acted. They could read your entire code base, plan multi-step changes, and execute them across dozens of files. The shift from autocomplete to autonomous agent happened faster than almost anyone predicted. Cursor, built by Anisphere, raised over $60 million in its Series A and quickly became the default for early adopters. Windsurf, developed by Codeium, a company that had already built a substantial free coding assistant, launched its own IDE with a different philosophy. And then Anthropic entered the arena directly with Claude Code, bypassing the IDE entirely. Each tool crystallized a different bet about the future of programming. And by mid-2025, the competition between them is intense. Cursor, priced at $20 per month for its Pro tier, is built on a fork of Visual Studio Code, the most popular code editor in the world. That's a strategic advantage. Developers migrating to Cursor find a familiar environment. Their extensions work. Their key bindings carry over. The friction of switching is minimal. But the real power is in what Cursor calls its composer and the multi-file editing agent. You describe a feature in natural language. Cursor's agent reads your project structure, identifies the relevant files, sometimes 10, 15, 20 files deep, and proposes coordinated changes across all of them. You review diffs in line, accept or reject each change, and iterate. According to developer surveys compiled by Pragmatic Engineer in early 2025, Cursor users reported the highest satisfaction ratings for complex refactoring tasks and large code-based navigation. It excels when the project already exists and needs modification. It thinks in terms of architecture. The trade-off? Cursor's reliance on multiple underlying models, it routes between GPT-4o, Claude, and its own fine-tuned models, can sometimes produce inconsistent behavior. The quality of output depends on which model is handling your request, and that's not always transparent. Windsurf takes a fundamentally different approach. At $15 per month, it's the most affordable of the three, and arguably the most methodical. Built by Codeium, which had over 700,000 users for its free coding assistant before Windsurf launched, the tool's signature feature is what the company calls Cascade, a step-by-step reasoning engine that shows its work. Where Cursor presents finished edits, Windsurf walks you through its logic. It explains why it's making each change, what it considered, and what alternatives it rejected. For developers who are learning or working in unfamiliar code bases, this transparency is transformative. You're not just getting code, you're getting an education in real time. Windsurf also introduced strong contextual awareness, indexing your entire project and maintaining what Codeium's CEO Varun Mohan described in a March 2025 interview as persistent memory across sessions. The tool remembers what you've done before and builds on it. The limitation? Windsurf's agentic capabilities, while improving rapidly, have been reported as less aggressive than Cursor's in handling very large, simultaneous multi-file changes. It's precise, where Cursor is ambitious. And then there's Claude Code. No IDE, no graphical interface, just a terminal. Anthropic released Claude Code in early 2025 as a command-line tool that operates directly in your development environment. You type what you want. It executes, reading files, writing code, running tests, committing to Git, even issuing pull requests. It is, by design, the most autonomous of the three. The benchmark numbers are striking. On SWE Bench Verified, a standardized test that measures an AI's ability to resolve real GitHub issues, Claude Code, using the Sonnet 4 model, achieved a 72.7% resolution rate as of June 2025. Anthropic's own reporting placed certain configurations even higher, with some claims approaching 93% on internal benchmarks, though that figure has been debated in the developer community. What's not debated is the tool's raw capability. Claude Code doesn't just suggest changes. It implements entire features, end to end. It reads your test suite, writes the code, runs the tests, debugs failures, and iterates until they pass. The cost model is different too. It's usage-based through API credits rather than a flat subscription, which can be cheaper for light users but significantly more expensive for heavy ones. Anthropic introduced a max plan at $200 per month for power users who need guaranteed capacity. The emergence of these tools has given rise to what Andrej Karpathy, former director of AI at Tesla, called vibe coding in a widely shared post in February 2025. The term describes a workflow where the developer describes intent conversationally, lets the AI generate code, and evaluates the result without necessarily reading every line. This sounds reckless. To traditionalists, it is, but the data tells a more nuanced story. Studies from Google's internal developer productivity team, published in early 2025, found that developers using AI coding assistants completed tasks 35 to 40% faster, with the largest gains in boilerplate generation, test writing, and documentation. Stack Overflow's 2025 developer survey indicated that 70% of professional developers now use AI coding tools in some capacity. Vibe coding doesn't mean no coding. It means shifting the developer's role from writer to architect and reviewer. The human sets direction, establishes constraints, evaluates output, and handles the decisions that require judgment about trade-offs the AI can't fully grasp. The tool handles volume, so who should use what? The answer depends on how you work, what you're building, and how much autonomy you want to hand to the machine. Cursor is the choice for experienced developers working on established, complex code bases who want a familiar IDE experience with powerful multi-file editing. Its VS Code foundation means minimal migration cost. If you already have a large project and need to refactor, extend, or debug it, Cursor is purpose-built for that. Windsurf is the choice for developers who value understanding, learners, junior engineers, or anyone entering an unfamiliar technology stack. Its step-by-step reasoning and lower price point make it the most accessible entry into AI-assisted development. It teaches while it builds. Claude Code is the choice for senior developers and power users who want maximum autonomy from their AI agent and are comfortable in a terminal. It's the most capable in raw benchmarks, the most autonomous in execution, and the most demanding in terms of trusting the machine to make decisions. Here's what's most significant about this moment. These three tools are converging. Cursor is adding more autonomous agent capabilities. Windsurf is expanding its multi-file editing power. Claude Code has begun exploring lightweight interface layers. Each is moving toward the other's strengths. The 35 to 40% productivity gains documented today are likely the floor, not the ceiling. As these tools mature through 2025 and into 2026, the gap between AI-augmented developers and those coding without assistance will widen into a chasm. This isn't about replacing programmers. It's about redefining what programming is. The developer of 2026 will spend less time typing syntax and more time thinking about systems, users, and consequences. The tools are here. They're imperfect, they're evolving fast, and they represent fundamentally different philosophies about human-machine collaboration. Which one wins may matter less than the fact that all three are pushing software development into a new era, one where the bottleneck is no longer the speed of your fingers, but the clarity of your thinking.